Libra, welcome to your weekly reading for August 29 to September the 4th. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure you check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well. All right, Libra, let's see. What is the energy around the week ahead for Libra? Round and round. Did you get that last week, Libra? New life. Okay, and the bottom of the deck is TikTok. Oh, Libra, I love this. So you've been sort of going on a journey lately, Libra, and you found yourself back somewhere again. But this time, there is something new about this experience. It's almost like you're revisiting something that is sparking a new experience, but it's something familiar. When I see round and round with new life, that tells me that you're back at something again, and it's sparking a new pathway for you, but it's something familiar, which is very interesting. You've got round and round, which guides us to experiences, to see them from a different perspective. So I wonder what you've returned to this week, Libra, but it's bringing out a new opportunity, a new life path is opening up for you, and it is divinely timed because TikTok is on the bottom of the deck. This is very interesting, Libra. I feel like this is a moment where you surrendered to something and you're giving it another try almost. It's like you're back at something again, and instead of seeing it as, oh, I'm back here again, you're seeing it as, I'm back here again, and it's sparking a new pathway for you, one that I feel is perfectly timed for right now. So let's jump into the tarot cards and see what they will reveal for you, Libra. Very interesting start to your reading. I can't help but feel like this has been a positive round and round where you're circling around something, and it's bringing up a new opportunity for you, one that is timed perfectly right now. There's the Five of Pentacles. So I think that this has been catalyzed from a situation where you felt like you didn't belong somewhere else. This has been a confirmation, if anything. It's like you went through something that made you feel like you didn't belong, and you sort of had this moment when we see Judgment in reverse where you might have been questioning things and thinking, where do I belong? Where do I belong? Where should I be focusing on? And maybe found yourself not certain. And now it's like you found a little hint or something sparked up a pathway you've been on before, but now it's like you're going for it, and it all came about because there was something here in the Five of Pentacles that made you feel like you were left out, like you didn't belong somewhere else. So it was one of these moments where you might have been even thinking to yourself that you failed at something. Seeing this combination of cards, you might have really had a strong opinion about this situation, and then all of a sudden, it was one of those all of a sudden moments, you had an idea for something that does feel like you belong and does motivate you. Very interesting. Let's get your first row out here. Eight of Swords. Okay, so you're still sort of holding on to an old story here, and I wonder what that could be. I bet you it's limiting you, though. When I see the Eight of Swords, yeah, it's totally limiting you. There's the King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Three of Cups in reverse now appears on the bottom of the deck. So this is very interesting. Something is sparking a new life for you. and it's divinely timed for right now. It may have been initiated by something that didn't work out. Sometimes things have to not work out so that we understand what will work out, Libra. And that's just the way it goes sometimes, I feel like you may still sort of be overthinking things to the point where you're not really 100% confident in yourself. There is a lack of confidence here. You might be focused on the material world a little bit too much in terms of money, resources, status, luxury. You might still be focused a little bit on that and feeling like that's never going to be mine. I'm never going to achieve that. Like you might be overthinking the material world and feeling like, you don't have enough. So that lack mentality is keeping you down a little bit. But I do feel like ultimately you're moving through this energy. You're moving through this, and you could receive some news of something that really takes you on a new journey. There's that beautiful Ace of Pentacles. Like it's really coming from a time where you felt a little bit defeated, and yet there's this archway that has been there. And I feel like you've moved round and around it for many, many years. And you might have been holding a pessimistic attitude about this and thinking that there's no cause for celebration. I'm not going to achieve my goal. It's not going to work out, and sort of resisted change for a while because of that way of thinking, Page of Cups here though, but something has shifted, something has transformed on the emotional level, and now suddenly you're trusting the timing of things with this Hanged Man now appearing on the bottom of the deck. So that really makes me think of this whole round and round card. It's almost like you've come full circle. Feels like you tried something, it didn't work out, but that was actually a blessing. That was a redirection. And you felt left out of things. You felt like you weren't going to be able to achieve what you desired. And I think that surrounded a lot of material concerns. So money, resources, status, our perception of ourselves in the material world. And there's this old story running in your mind that's sort of helping you make excuses to not change things. And I think you're slowly moving away from that old story and sort of learning to communicate with yourself in a different way. That Three of Cups in reverse makes me think that there was some kind of misunderstanding, where there may have been a misunderstanding amongst friends or something here that helped. Ironically, that misunderstanding may have actually helped clear the air for you somehow, to show you that there are new opportunities, and that perhaps this belief that you won't be successful is something that just exists in your mind, right, Libra? And when it does exist in our mind, we end up seeing evidence for it in the world around us, in the external world. Six of Wands here, and that I think has been a struggle. I think that's been a struggle up until now, because that feeling of pessimism and that your desires won't be met. You might have even started comparing yourself to other people doing similar things and thinking, well, they're successful, how come I'm not successful? And instead of focusing on abundance, focusing on lack, which created sort of a pessimistic attitude and a bit of a refusal to get on board with some changes here. But I feel like that has all lifted. It's almost like your energy has become refocused now. And there is something about the timing of right now. It's like you have the time, you have the energy, you have the resources to make something new happen here. And I feel like it's all come from a time where your energy wasn't focused, where it was scattered, in fact. And you might be finding yourselves sort of thinking now that you can really expand on this new life, that this is a possibility and that it could work out. So something shifted that for you, or will shift that for you this week. I feel like it could be a conversation with friends. It could be an insight that you have, but it might be something that someone points out to you. You might have a conversation that initially you don't really care for, but somehow that conversation ends up turning things around for you in terms of how you feel about things. And I say that because we see that Page of Cups sitting there at the end of your reading here, which makes me really feel like you're suddenly becoming a dreamer again. And you're suddenly becoming optimistic and seeing synchronicities and being motivated and having innovative ideas that you didn't have up until recently, or you didn't have until this week, Something has shifted, and now you suddenly are trusting the process, and you're thinking, you know what, maybe things are going to work out, and maybe they could have only worked out now. So I don't need to beat myself up for the past, because this is the time. It's now. The time is now. And it wasn't before. I had to go through those feelings of I didn't belong here, to understand where I do feel like I belong. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, that kind of redirection can be how we find our footing and how we feel like we can be a dreamer again, and really believe that things are possible again. Very interesting, Libra. Let's see, what do you need to surrender or surrender to close your reading for this week? What do you need to surrender or surrender to? Ooh, okay. Surrender procrastination. Okay. That says now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. And I feel like this is relevant here. Maybe for some of you, you're still sitting in the place where you're procrastinating on something. And sometimes that can be a really frustrating part of the journey. But, when we start to experience that procrastination, I feel like that is also a sign that you're very close to achieving something. And it's that imposter syndrome that stops us. And we start to procrastinate because we don't feel worthy, or we don't feel like, how could this possibly be for me? It's too good to be true. And it can be at that moment that we actually can attract everything that we view as success if we choose to sort of go for it, to take action, And so that's interesting. This could be the right time for you to strike right now. Now, we also see surrender to prayer, which says give yourself completely over to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard through the universe, and the answers and support will arrive. So I always think of prayer as basically it's your communication, it's your correspondence with this universe when we pray, especially I think when we pray out loud, when you really communicate and correspond with the source energy of this universe. It's interesting how things respond, and it happens no matter what you're doing or talking about. So careful, right? Like if you're sending out correspondence that says, I'm not worthy of this, I don't deserve this, I'll never have this, and I'll never be successful. Like you're really coding things to match your own energy when you do that, right? No matter what you say. So if you start saying things like, I am worthy, I do deserve this, I will attract everything I need and have the space for the time that is required to accomplish what I have as my desire. It's interesting, like why not try that as well? To see what will happen if your correspondence actually matches with what you desire instead of what you fear. It's an interesting way to sort of reprogram how we are thinking and talking automatically sometimes, really being conscious of that. All right, I'm going to leave that there for you, Libra. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care and have a great week.